Say anything, Cal.
Welcome, and thank you for being with us on a Tuesday night. We are back. We're missing our banner, guys. We're going to get it back.
We've been missing these dudes worse than the banner, man.
We said we're going to do it with or without the banner. On behalf of First Amendment Sports, I'm Ken Marangolo. This is, thank God it's Tuesday, the official Washington NFL football team of Hogs Haven. He's Tim Strachan.
It's like we had our own mini The Blip for the last 4 weeks. We just had to take a little. We went away, and now we're back.
Went away, now we're back. We weren't trying to be mysterious about it. We had some COVID issues on the team. We got them resolved. We are feeling healthy. Everybody is good. And, hey, we said it last week. It's one thing you're not going to escape. At some point during this whole thing, you're going to have to change your schedule, and we did. He's Kevin Ricka.
Well, I just want to say thanks for coming back. I'm looking at you guys on the board here. Missed you guys. Missed talking about our squad. It's been too long. We've been doing this too many years. I thought we were COVID impervious for a while. Nobody is.
Nobody is.
Figured that out. And then, you're thankful for what you got. And I missed this, man. It's been too long. It's draft season. We haven't screamed at each other or agreed or had a 2-on-1 or – all right, now it's getting weird.
It's getting a little bit weird.
I apologize.
AGH, James Rainey, Greg Martin, Eric Anderson, E.O. Anderson.
What's up, homeboys?
All of you folks who are giving us a listen and a watch. If you're not already a subscriber, please hit the subscribe button. It is free. At the moment, it is free. We're not charging a nickel or a dime.
Our subscribers actually went up during our last show.
We had a great subscription campaign. Numbers on the rise. Appreciate it. You're helping us out. You get notifications when we go live with this show and others. Thankfully, we have had the opportunity to be together. We've been calling high school football here in the D.C. area. For any of you who may have checked in on us to see just to get a taste of some football. It's so amazing. It's so weird, but we'll take it. We had an opportunity to talk to an awesome high school football coach in the show before this, Andy Stefanelli, who's a friend, but he's also a good man and a great football coach. And you talk to guys like that, makes you feel like you're in mid-season. We're going to get to some professional football stuff, and I thought I would get things started. It is a subscribe-a-thon. I don't know how is subscribe-a-thon edited out. I don't know what YouTube – E.O. Anderson said it was a subscribe-a-thon, and YouTube thought he was saying something dirty. I don't know. That's weird.
Hands above the table,
Hands above the table, everybody, where we can see them. I'll give you my top of the show.
Where's your clown
thoughts?
Marangolo?
There's no post-production, no editing going on. I like
my chair doesn't go sideways, so.
Oh, it does. It rolls all the way over here. We are going to talk about the Washington NFL football team. We're going to talk about the draft. But I thought there was two things that I was thinking about. So much has happened since the last time we did this show for our team. And yet a couple of things struck me. First one's easy. We have 17 games this year, which is just different and cool. And I think I'm surprised at the reaction from hardcore football fans. It's been mixed. I love it. I get an extra game. I understand 100% that it's not going to be easy on players.
Yeah, people don't like change.
People don't like change. I guess it's just so weird that people are like
change.
I love it. And it's
like
one
change.
Extra game.
Smart change. One less preseason game.
Yeah.
One less preseason, one more regular. For me, that's all I needed to hear. I'm not certain who it benefits. They're playing, from my understanding, they're playing 3 preseason games. And so here's the deal. Each team will host 10 contests because we know it's all about that cheddar. 10 contests, whether it's 9 home games or 8, but you'll have the odd number out if you're preseason. You have 1 preseason hosting or 2, depending. So everyone gets 10 gates, That's I guess that's what those owners needed. Make them feel so good about.
And they're making them go overseas. Everyone's going to have to go overseas. Like they're going to cycle them every 6 or 7 years, I think, maybe
gross.
8 the most.
That's way worse than anything. That's gross.
And they're going to build the extra buy-in at some point because
you get a concussion overseas and you got to do that flight home. That's like the worst possible case scenario.
Yep.
So we're trying to fight the concussions on this side. But what are you going to put them on an ocean liner? They're not going to make it back for next week.
That's what they should be doing.
Unless you're AGH, then you're excited as hell because they're coming to you.
Yeah, man. Well, that's the good part. There's always a good part and a bad part.
And this is step one, in my opinion, towards getting the Super Bowl lined up with that 3-day weekend that's been so elusive for us. So
but we thought they'd restrict the amount. They thought they'd go to 2 preseason, and that would have been the solution, correct?
Yep.
But it wouldn't have solved getting 10 home gates.
10 home gates. So I still think – so at some point they're going to add this second bye.
Which I don't care about, by the way. That's some –
The second bye?
No.
The
10 home gates.
Yeah,
the owner's getting catered to.
Owners are getting catered to. The second bye will get here soon enough. That's going to extend the season by another week. And I think the end result –
What's the holiday weekend?
What's that? Isn't MLK second week of February?
Which we've always thought if we were off that Monday, and not to take anything away from either side of anything, but wouldn't it be awesome to all be together to celebrate that after we were all together celebrating the Washington football team the previous evening?
That's right. That's exactly right.
It's a win-win.
It's a win-win.
I think so.
The day after the Super Bowl should be a national holiday.
Yep.
And I don't want to steal a different national holiday, but we can all kind of combine forces and just, have a holiday. Second thing.
It doesn't have to be the Super Bowl.
Combined forces is the best part of that sentence.
Combined forces.
The NFL could be an excellent source of how to combine forces.
Without a doubt.
To move forward and to make that holiday and that weekend coincide to something more important than football. That would be the eve of and
MLK
Eve. Of course it's not going to be that because
I understand.
But you know what I'm saying.
It will be I do think we're getting to where we want to get to somehow, some way. Second non-Washington football thought of the show, and we can get into more things. I want to know what you guys think about this and anyone on the board thinks about this because this hit me today. Tom Brady won the freaking Super Bowl with Tampa Bay. He leaves New England after a whole entire career of playing with the Patriots. It's still sinking in. It's still sinking in that he went to a different team, lined up in a different conference with a whole bunch of different players, still went to the Super Bowl and still won it. Now, I mean – I understand we saw it. I understand it was great. We covered this.
And then he got hammered.
And then he got hammered and threw the trophy from one boat to another boat. It's still sinking in, like what this guy did. And I don't know.
I'm more shocked at him getting hammered than winning the Super Bowl. How about that?
Sure. I guess so.
That is definitely more surprising.
It's not surprising that he won. It's just, to me, it is surprising. The getting hammered part, for sure. But
if you drink 360 ounces of water all day long and then you sneak in a couple hops and barleys in there, dude, that sun was high in the sky, and he was tiptoeing like a prom date as a freshman. He was, no, it was his tequila, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, that had like electrolytes.
Was it called like skinny tequila or something?
Either way, and he couldn't handle it.
Yeah, I think you put it on your tongue and it evaporates.
Weird.
He definitely didn't.
And it grows your hair
drink
long?
the worm. Yeah.
I think it's President's Day, by the way. Kevin
President's Day.
Hagen reminds us. I always get the two mixed up, and I apologize.
I was just co-signing with you, my friend. And
I know.
It's a great idea, guys.
Either way, it's the Mondays off, and you know what? President's Day is an even better day to steal. You can get rugs and cars and anything
all
on
American
sale.
Things all weekend.
You go to
it's a Persian rug
furniture.
sale.
If you want some furniture on President's Day, you got the day off. You just watch the Super Bowl.
Furniture is the deal.
You got to replace some couches
And
because someone spilled beers all over it the night before. President's Day is you can buy a car on sale for sure. All right,
President's Day seems to be losing its luster.
We were dancing around on stealing MLK Day, but President's Day, we're taking it all day.
Super Bowl, hungover aftermath.
Totally
Yes.
hijacked the Sunday of President's Day weekend.
That
No
makes
doubt.
it way better.
Yeah.
Way
Because who cares?
All
Who
right.
cares?
Some things went down since the last time we talked with our team. Let's do retirements first. Alex and Jordan. Who wants to take who first? What do you guys want?
Well, for Alex,
Yeah, you got Alex. I got
thank
Jordan.
God. It's time, dude. What you did was incredible. It was awesome, but you got a lot of life to live. I wouldn't risk it. I really wouldn't. Enjoy what you have. Enjoy what you did.
Did he have to take us on that part of the ride though? Did they have to say in GQ
He didn't take
they didn't
me
want
on
us?
any ride.
Why didn't he just retire before as a Redskin or as a
because then the
WFT?
story wasn't complete. I think the story's complete.
I
He
know,
doesn't
but
need to go to another team and lead somebody
no
to a
another
Super
team was
Bowl
having him.
and all that.
We agree. We agree.
Exactly.
The end result was always the same, but he had that little 1 month thing where it was like,
What
no
he
one
did
wants me.
and what he got to just going back onto a field, first and foremost, is the story
Sure.
in and of itself.
Sure.
The fact that even happened, much less what he was able to do. Jesus, that's awesome.
I'm going to go as far as to say that it might be more dangerous for Jordan Reed to have continued playing football.
Yeah, I don't understand
I
what
don't
he was doing.
know at all, by the
Possibly.
way. Yeah, I don't even want to have that conversation. I just wanted to see what your reaction would be because I feel proud of the man I rooted for forever. He gave everyone work. He was unguardable at the height of his production. He was a freak of nature, and we thought we had the next coming. And you know what? We did. It just the concussions wouldn't allow that career to continue. And he wanted that one more taste after his bad taste in Washington. Alex had to have his final taste, which was the sweetest taste ever for Washington fans and himself.
Yeah.
So I think it's pretty neat that they both did it within hours or however many hours it was. But I'm glad Jordan Reed got to give it one more. It didn't get too banged up again and can maybe get out of here without being too scathed mentally moving forward.
We had a couple of notable cuts, or one in particular, and I think it was today. Bryce Love is no longer on the team. We were holding out hope. He looks so good at Stanford running the ball. His skills were tailor-made. He would have, I think, been very successful at the level. He just couldn't get healthy. I mean, he was just too banged up. A lot too much wear on his tires. It's a shame, but one thing we know, I think, he's got a hell of a future. He's a smart guy. He's going to do just fine, obviously, and no matter what he chooses. But it stinks that he wasn't able to get on the field at the NFL.
He's going to be a doctor.
He's going to be a doctor.
It's too bad he couldn't fix himself or Bruce Allen because that was Bruce's final swan song there. They call me Bruce. Thank you,
They
Mr.
call
Allen.
me Bruce.
He was second in the Heisman Trophy running, and Bruce saw that. It was like 1937. He was like, well, he finished second in the Heisman Trophy. And he's available in the fourth round. He fantasy was drafting at that point, and he got a couple right.
Yep.
But not this one, and I wish he did because that guy, I feel bad. He's done, but he'll be fine to make money. I really thought he'd be a player.
Yeah, me too.
I don't think we ever understood the extent of his knee injury his senior year and him coming back. If he just actually went into the draft, he's a first-round pick. We talked about possibly getting him with Darius Geist the year before in the first round. We discussed who we'd get and what's his name from Florida State, Minnesota, who's a star.
Dalvin Cook.
He was part of that the year before. In fact, he was held to that a little bit higher after his season. It was sad that's how it went down.
Any other notable roster moves you guys want to cover? Anything on the board you guys want to cover? Roster moves? I think those were the big ones that stood out to me. We've added players through free agency. I want to say I know other teams are getting more press. I think the Washington front office has done a really good job. I mean, if you just look at Fitzpatrick, William Jackson, and Curtis Samuel, if you just look at those three guys.
Love all three.
They're going to play. We're going to count on them this year. And setting Samuel and Jackson aside, both of those guys are a little younger than Fitzpatrick, and we hope to have control of them for a little bit longer.
Well, may I just say real quick?
Yeah.
12 off-season free agent signings.
That's right.
You say hang on a little bit longer. Two gentlemen signed to 3-year deals. The other 10, we're right back at this 1 year. Throw them in the pit.
Year.
Let's see what happens.
Yep.
So, obviously, William Jackson and Curtis Samuel got 3-year deals. I mean, it's kind of interesting. 42 for William Jackson. I mean, nice deal for him. 34.5 for Samuel. I love it. I love it. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I just want to make that point.
Yeah.
2 guys we signed to be with us for this 3-year window, and then 10 to go to the fights, to fight in the pits.
Without doubt, 2 most important acquisitions we had.
Yeah.
And so we'll talk about how they give us flexibility in the draft. But the thing about what you're talking about, Kevin, because I think that's a relevant point to talk about all those 1-year contracts. The uncertainty in the NFL with the salary cap because of COVID, what was the story entering free agency, but they got 2 new deals. They got the TV deal, which is worth, however many commas go with that in the NFL.
It might not even matter after the next deal.
Yeah, and the gambling gambling partnerships.
That's coming, baby.
Yeah, I mean the official gambling partners of the NFL. You're talking about $1 billion deals. So I think the good news for us as Washington fans is that we'll continue to roll over free salary cap space. These 1-year deals, they go away obviously after 1 year, and so the things that we do well.
Is that what 1-year deals do?
I was going to say you nailed the analysis on that.
I told you.
The board, T and I thank you.
I actually was a little fuzzy before we started. I'm glad I'm totally clear on that now.
We will be able to.
Compliments are scarce around here.
Compliments are scarce.
You'll notice.
Compliments are very scarce. I will take them when I can get them. The ability for us to build around guys like Curtis Samuel and around all the young talent, Chase Young, Montez, Terry McLaurin is going to be great because, players and their agents specifically went after 1-year deals because they all think they can make more money in subsequent years, and they're pretty much all right for the most part. But we have the ability to recruit in subsequent years with a significant amount of cap space and good young players. And that every year we get further into the Ron Rivera era is another year where free agents have to take a good look at us and say, man, like that's not the same team that we saw 3 years ago. That I might actually want to play for that team, those coaches with those players. So I see the 1-year contract for us. It's a great deal because we shouldn't be committing to guys who aren't Curtis Samuel.
And Snyder's not signing those checks anymore.
That's right.
You got Riverboat, Martin, and Marty over there making sure that we're not passing out just terrible vouchers for squatters to take money from us.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
Right and wrong, I think just the fact they're taking a much different approach is in and of itself relieving. It's good to see a different. We're not talking about the same old crap in the off seasons that I think we talked about over and over.
Yeah,
again.
anything's different. Anything
Yeah.
different is better. There's
a separation.
Is way better because this different is actually class act from.
There's still a current of sludge that's associated with Dan Snyder and the stuff that we've had that has been reported on and it's been working through, and that is. But the front office hasn't been part of that sludge for the last 20 years. The front office has been super sludgy.
It's been bifurcated.
It's been bifurcated. So we still have to deal with the shit show of Dan Snyder. But now when we see a pre-draft news conference, it's Martin Mayhew and Ron Rivera going up there talking about their draft preparations, what exactly they're doing and not doing. And to hear Martin Mayhew answer questions, it's a breath of fresh air. What do you ask him questions, and the first thing to say is, well, listen, for strategic purposes, I'm not going to tell you, the answer to that. But look at what we've done, and we've given ourselves flexibility. And see, that's what I think is like the best part of going into this draft for the Washington football team is that I don't think there's a single move we're forced to make at number 19 or in the first round in general. Not because Ryan Fitzpatrick is going to be a Hall of Fame 5-year guy for us at quarterback. we still could draft a quarterback. But I think that the way they went about the offseason and the manner in which they attack these positions of need, I think that you could see us we're believable as a cagey front office. No one knows necessarily what we're going to do because there's nothing that we necessarily have to do. We can let the best player come to us. We can jump up a few picks and get someone we like.
The best player for us, by the way.
The best player for us.
It's not the best player for everybody else. It's not the old school Redskin or Washington football team drafts. It's not the bright star. If that guy doesn't fit our program, it doesn't matter. And I keep thinking about that with the 10 tackles and the 10 cornerbacks, the possibility to trade back. And we always talk about this. Forget about it. You need 2, blah, blah. It's just, you can't just trade. But with this amount of tackles and corners, you can kind of sift through it and figure out who fits your situation, your style. These other guys might start going, and we want our guy. So that's a possibility for us, I think, Ken, due to the depth of those positions and wide receiver as well, where we don't have to we're not forced at 19 because we got Curtis Samuel to go get a number 1 for our new guy.
Yep.
We're not forced to go get a left tackle, I don't believe, based on what we accomplished last year. One for the future? Sure. And I think linebacker is the only thing that kind of gets pressed in here. Cornerback,
you guys know
we were going to have to get a cornerback
need.
if not for William Jackson. That's what
running back's the most glaring.
situations.
Lineback's the most glaring need, but I think running back becomes a bigger part of the discussion now with the vacancy in that room.
What's the vacancy?
Well, Bryce Love, right?
Yeah, but he wasn't really
Bryce Love
filling the
never really
seat.
got. Yeah,
He was like
not him.
He had a cot.
But
he had that third cot.
There's now a body that's
you
that's
two
that's
had
needed.
the beds.
You
He
still
had the
have
cot.
Barber, McKissick, and Antonio are your 3 guys.
Lamar Miller just got signed
and-
to the
yeah.
squad after we had him
I
at the end
forgot
of last
about
year.
Miller.
Well, not that he's going to be the future,
Right. No.
but he kind of fills
did.
that
Yeah.
void-ish for one. I think.
You're right. You're right.
I mean, listen, the way that Scott Turner plays offense, we're not taking this guy, I know. But Travis Etienne,
I wanted to talk about this.
Travis Etienne is going to be on the board when we draft at number 19. We don't need him per se. But he might be the best player on the board when we draft.
Time out.
Okay,
Time
please,
out.
go ahead.
And the best player for us.
I know, he can play it all.
We have Antonio Gibson. We have I know McKissick's on his second year of his deal, and this would be gorgeous, but Etienne and Gibson are not the tandem that you split between. They both get another guy that's not of their cloucher. Is that a word?
Clout?
We'll make it a word.
I like clout.
Should I just go with cloucher?
Just go with clout.
I just put stature and clout together, and I was like, F it.
I want to see from the board what they think about Cloucher. So you're putting Antonio and Etienne together in the backfield.
I'm just saying you cannot, even though here's what I believe. He'd be perfect for us. He's amazing for Ron Rivera, Scott Turner. He's the perfect fit. We already have Antonio Gibson, and we can't get him. Why would you get 2?
I know, but I'm just saying that I know he's so good, and he's going to be right there.
Can you imagine those two double jeopardy?
Very good.
He's so perfect for us, but it has to
I know,
be discussed.
Greg. I know the board.
It has
The
to be
board is.
discussed.
I wasn't trying to tell you guys that we think we should be drafting a running back number 19.
we shouldn't.
All I'm saying
It's
is
tantalizing.
he is going to be just sitting there dangling like a rearview mirror ornament right in front of your face, and you're going to be like, wow, can you imagine giving him balls 15 to 20 times a game some way, somehow?
Ken, 5th grade, the 2 prettiest girls in class, and one of them says, hey, I'm with you for the next year. The other one's like, I want to be with you for the next year.
So we're not
can
drafting
we do both?
Travis Etienne.
In 5th grade you can, but I don't know about 15th or 25th. Those grades were tough.
I've been consistent, and I remain on linebacker in the first round.
Yeah, we can't get ATN. Stop. Who started this?
I know. It was T. Damn it, T.
It was you, Ken.
I know, it was
and
me.
you know what? I would have done it if it wasn't you. I wanted to have this covered. I want to hear what the board has to say. I want to hear
this
what
draft is
going to
get weird. It's going to get super weird.
It really is.
And us drafting Etienne is not happening, but it's definitely weird, and we have to cover the weird stuff.
It's weird until we do draft them, and then we replay all this.
Because so listen, we're not drafting.
What's the board saying?
They're done with running backs in the first round.
I am too, 100%.
I never said first round.
He might
I said it
be
becomes
there.
a place to look at.
ATN, cruising with the ATN.
I mean-
I still think the first pick is a linebacker.
Yeah,
Unless
it should
something
be. It needs
crazy
to be.
like a move up.
So I think there's only a handful of
It's
guys.
been wildly
if not,
speculated.
that I would, and Micah Parsons is one of the guys that I would sprint the card up for. And I've gone back
Correct.
and forth with it, but
Me too.
I also just feel like there's such an opportunity to not have to be forced to get someone at 19.
Yep.
But if Micah Parsons is sitting there, and in some of these mock drafts that we've been messing around on fantasy, and
I
Fantasy
can't see him falling that far.
I can't see a quarterback ever falling that far that we would ever give a damn about. So take that
But I
out of
can't.
it.
But I can't see Micah falling that far.
How? How?
I don't
could he?
see it.
How could he?
I'm Micah,
How could
then Zavin, then the Notre Dame kid.
I love Zaven, but first round Zaven scares me. First round Zaven scares me.
I think he's multiple, and I think that Jack Del Rio and Ron Rivera will put him in different spots. I think he can play. I think he can play a couple of different roles in their defense. I think they could.
I think he could too.
And I think that's what they're going to sell themselves on in terms of a first-round linebacker, because you're not going to get Micah Parsons at number 19. Let me ask you guys and see what the board has to say about the kid from Kentucky. Is it Davis? Now, I think he's a kid. He's a kid who probably won't. I don't know that he'd be there for us in the second round anymore, because I think the secret's out. Everyone knows who he is.
He was a day 3 guy before all this.
And
Right.
now he's being now he's actually being mocked in the first. I don't know if we're going to be the team that takes him in the first, but if we're drafting a linebacker, I think he might be there in the first round, and he is kind of a fascinating prospect to me, because I think he can play in Ron Rivera's defense the way Ron Rivera likes to play linebacker. Take it from there.
That's exactly what he is. He's a stud stallion. I think he's just slightly under 6'4", 235. He tested off the charts. Vertical, broad jump, and your 40 has a, I forget the term, it's like a something virtual radio ratio, blah, blah, blah. The highest one of anyone in the whole draft class. If you combine his broad jump, his vertical, and his 40 with his size and stature, he passes all those whatever tests. He also just became a star this year as the game started to slow down for him.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah. I think for Ron Rivera, a guy who wants to put so much on the shoulders of that player, is he going to be the experienced guy enough to take on that role for a coach like Ron Rivera?
Hold up. Let's mold him in the fashion that Ron Rivera and Jack Del Rio like their will linebacker. And I believe athletically,
give him a little cloucher. Just give him a little cloucher.
That dude's got straight up cloucher. You know why? Another guy that believes in himself. It's why I love Trey Lance. He's someone that's always been under-regarded, never given all the time. And he just kept believing in himself. Me too. That's what I'm saying. He believed in himself. Same thing with the man we're talking about. He was getting some offers out of high school, and he said, I want to play in the SEC. He stumbled across a coach that was recruiting him somewhere else that got a side piece job at Kentucky. He got like a weird offer to Kentucky, and he was like, that's where I'm going because I want to play in the SEC because I believe in myself because I'm that good. Those are the dudes I want. Yeah. Not the dudes that have been handed the 5 stars and all the accolades. I want the hungry, badass monsters that are driven at home to do something for their family scenario and where they came from, that are hungry, starving to get good. Trey Lance fits that mold, and certainly, man.
And well, that reminds me of a DeQuell Jackson. I think that was a perfect example. A guy that got passed over but thought he was good enough, got an opportunity in Maryland, goes to the NFL and freaking tears it up. Guy
he did great. He proved a lot of people right.
But he was the most hungry young man, one of the most hungriest young men I've ever seen.
I love watching him play.
When he got to Maryland.
Relative athletic score.
Relative, the RAC.
Yes. RASC.
You're talking about relative athletic cloucher. That's the RAC.
Yes.
But the relative athletic score is the RAS.
Well, I just call it the rack now, up at the rack. Take it to the rack, Cam.
Take it to the rack. All right, so we're not gonna talk quarterbacks just quite yet. I want to stay with this idea that we can build our roster at number 19 without trading up, without trading back. Great player.
Hell yeah.
It will be available for us. I'm intrigued by the possibility of Davis at number 19 overall. I'll be interested if Jack Del Rio and Ron Rivera agree, and here's why. I think they're going to – I don't think this is the front office or coaching staff who's going to take a chance on a prospect that they don't know a lot about. That's why I love Davis. I think they know who he is. That's why I like the kid from Notre Dame. That's why I like Zaven Collins.
I love the kid from Notre Dame.
I think you know who that player is, and they're not going to like the opt-outs.
Corabo is flying up.
He's flying up. Yeah. I don't think we're the team that drafts opt-outs. I don't think we're and that's what I think the knock on Trey Lance is ultimately going to be with his staff is experience. I don't think Ron Rivera is trying to be the smartest guy in the room. That's all I'm saying.
We got Fitzy right here, ready to take this guy under his wing.
All I'm saying is I don't think Martin Mayhew and Ron Rivera and Marty and JDR are the kind of guys who are out there trying to outsmart everybody else and say, we think we know something they don't. I think they're going to say, if you want to take a chance on someone who didn't play like last year, which really ultimately ends up being a knock on some really good players.
Why would you not draft someone that didn't play last year?
Why would you not draft? I think that's a question front office is asking themselves. I think that's why he's dropping in. I think he's a top 5 pick if he played last year.
I couldn't disagree with that anymore. I don't think anyone gives two shits about what happened last year, to be honest.
I do think so. I think it matters.
I don't think so. I don't think it's going to matter. If Micah Parsons shows up in shape,
I don't know whether it does
how
or
can
doesn't.
you sit there and be like,
does.
he made a business decision not to get COVID for his family, and he's a beast, and we know he's a beast, and so we're not going to draft him because he didn't play because of COVID?
No.
Here's that some people think he's soft.
No. I'm not saying that some people think he's soft. Here's Gil Brandt, who has been covering the NFL since World War II. And he had an interesting quote.
Balls. There's no doubt about it.
Interesting quote.
Old pigskins.
Pigskins. Yeah. He made this quote, and he said he hasn't seen anything like this since guys left in the end of their college years, went and joined the military for a couple years and came back. He's like, in my experience as a scout, he said there's something you're never as good when you take that kind of time off at that age. Now that's just one person's opinion.
If you were reading Sanskrit in World War I, you might feel that way.
Okay, hold on. What other general managers have said, including when our guys were interviewed, if you watch their press conference, things that they said did fall into that. And they said, hey, we're going to take this kind of stuff into account. We think that we know who some guys are better than who some other guys are. And my comment about our front office isn't that they think guys are soft or isn't that they think guys aren't good players. My comment is I think Ron Rivera is going to be – and I'm not even saying he's going to be going for the safe pick. I just think they're not going to be the team or front office that goes out there and tries to outsmart everybody. I think they're going to say we – know this football player. We've seen what he can do. We want him to be on our team to do this.
Trey Lance is going top 3, by the way.
Top 3?
In my opinion.
You think he's going to the 49ers?
Not without a doubt.
I think Justin Fields is going to the 49ers.
And by the way, Trey Lance couldn't have more of the same dimensions of Cam Newton, who Ron Rivera drafted with the first pick. Yep. Without trying to outsmart everyone in the room at the same exact time. Those two have more similarities physically. We
don't disagree, Kevin.
On and off the field. Yeah, but just because he didn't play last year. And by the way, Trey Lance played
about how much I like Trey Lance.
Outspoken. One game last year.
In fact, I said the other day that if we're trading for anyone, we're going up for Trey Lance.
How could you possibly hold the COVID thing against somebody?
I didn't say they're holding anything against anybody.
Like, and I wouldn't hold the COVID thing against anybody at any level and any business.
I understand.
Anything.
I did not say they're holding the COVID level against anything.
You did. You
no, I did not.
Play last year.
It's a factor. That's what I'm saying. It is a factor.
There's a huge difference about going to war for a year or two.
Okay.
I'm not picking up your point at all.
You guys
are
coming
honest.
I mean, all I'm saying is if you take a year off when you're 18, 19, 20,
they didn't
21.
take a year off. Half of football guys took a year off.
I understand.
If Micah Parsons ain't playing middle linebacker for Penn State and I'm playing against Penn State and I'm the quarterback,
Kevin,
I'm feeling a lot better about things.
We don't disagree about Micah Parsons or Trey Lance.
No, you didn't listen to my point. My point is this. If I perform great against Penn State without Micah Parsons on the field, didn't I short sell myself to the scouts? I mean, come on, man. I didn't play against the best middle linebacker in the country this year. But he's not the one that should be punished, I don't think.
There's no being
So I'm
punished.
rewarded because I didn't play against Micah
Parsons?
Parsons? No,
one's being
giving
rewarded.
you a point. I'm giving you a point. If you think people are being hurt by not playing last year, in the draft. That's what you just said. Then
No,
I
no, no,
disagree
no.
with you.
That's not what I just said. What I just said
Well,
is.
then what the fudge did you just say? Because it's so confusing.
Don't stop trying to tell me about war.
He's just as confused, I promise.
What I'm saying is people who didn't play last year, that is going a factor into the decision. Some teams have the luxury of saying we understand who that player is. We don't care about that. We're going to go forward and take that guy anyways. There's going to be teams. I guarantee you, there's going to be teams who are going to say, and their front offices are already signaling in interviews and in quotes saying it is a factor. We are absolutely considering players who played versus players who didn't. I don't think Micah Parsons is going to be hurt by that. He's going to be a first-round draft pick.
You already said he fell from the top 5 down to somewhere.
He's going to be a first-round pick.
Which he's
going to get paid a lot of money. And he's going to have an awesome career.
Right. I don't know. This is a weird conversation.
I think you're hearing me say something I'm not saying. I do.
Well, I know this. You said that Micah Parsons was a top 5 pick that now isn't because he didn't play this year. They haven't drafted yet.
That's not what I
said.
said.
We didn't know if he was. You said.
No,
You told me he was a top 5 pick.
Kevin.
Before he didn't play this year. You didn't say that?
I said in my personal opinion, I think he's a top 5 pick if he played last year. Yes. I do.
In the year 2000.
So we disagree. Big deal.
I don't even
if
know
it is a factor,
what we're talking about.
My opinion is I don't think it's that big of a factor.
I don't even know what we're talking about, so let's move forward. I'm not trying to argue with you. I can't understand what we're talking about. To be fair.
I'm trying to say people have been talking about.
We haven't talked in 6 weeks, and I don't know what we're talking about.
Okay,
right now.
what I'm trying to say is there are GMs who are there are decision makers in the NFL, I believe, who are taking into account what happened over the last year in terms of who played and who didn't. And yes, I do think there's teams who will say, I think Trey Lance is going to be a great player, but he's only played 19 games ever. He only played and we're not going to be the team that takes a shot on this guy.
Lack of experience, certainly at the quarterback position.
And guess what? They could be dead wrong, Kevin. They could be dead wrong because you know who wants Trey Lance?
I know that because
Me.
You know what else I know? For the last month, everything we've read has been a freaking lie. Beware of the Ides of April. I don't believe anything I read at any point in time before a draft. I'm so confused right now. So let's talk about something else.
We're talking about the draft. And we're going to keep
I love talking about the draft, but not about COVID choices. I don't want to talk about that anymore. That's a weird conversation.
Okay. Well, okay. Well, Kevin,
what
are we talking about?
Weird.
You tell us. You can give us the next topic for the draft.
That's very, very dickish of you, Ken.
I'm just saying.
You've got all this stuff written down here.
This is around the league for
How about this?
WCAC.
I would like to say I don't want to bring up topics or ever talk about the last topic ever again. Now we're clear.
Okay, well, I'm sorry because I'm going to talk about what I think general managers are taking into account as they lead into a first round of the draft.
If you can make that point clear, I'd love to follow it.
Well, you just don't agree with it, man. That's fine.
No, I don't even know what you're talking about.
I think the fact that the guys who took the year off, the opt-outs, and the people who didn't get a lot of experience at the college level, I think that's a factor in whether or not where they're going to be drafted in the first round.
But it could be negative, could be positive.
I didn't say it was negative or positive. I said it's a factor.
I'm done talking about this. You said, and we'll rewind and watch
you're not done if you're
that
still talking about
Micah
it.
Parsons, if he played last year.
So we're not done talking about it.
What if he tore his ACL last year? He wouldn't be a top 5 pick.
We're not talking about it, I guess.
Let's be clear, too. Trey Lance did not opt out of anything.
I understand.
No, he played.
They only played.
He played the one game they had scheduled.
They only had an opportunity to play
I
one
didn't
game.
say – I'm
For
not
Trey
limiting
Lance,
it to players' decisions,
for Trey Lance in particular, I think it is important to note that he only played one game because of the lack of experience.
Yes. I'm not limiting it to a player's decision. I'm just saying –
that certainly is a factor. There's no
flat out.
And the other factor is he played the year before and went 16-0, won a national championship, and never threw one interception. So, I think he's pretty good.
We're not talking about whether a guy decided something. The program at North Dakota State decided for Trey Lance. He had nothing to do with that. He got one opportunity, and he played very well.
That's not 100% correct. He had the opportunity to play in the spring had he chosen. So, yes, he had every opportunity to play the whole spring, and he took the right choice and didn't. That's why I don't think Trey Lance
he's going to be just fine. He's going to be a first-round draft pick.
That's not what you were suggesting.
He's going to make a lot of money, and he's going to, I think, have a great career, as will Micah Parsons, as will Caleb Farley, as will plenty of other gifted players in the first round. I do think that it will be a factor in some GM's minds.
I
That's all I'm
agree.
saying.
And if he caught COVID on the field last year, that also would be. So that's my point.
Okay. Well, then where's the
You
misunderstanding?
said if he played the full year, he would have been a top 5 pick.
I think Micah Parsons, if he had played, he would be drafted higher
Not
than
if
he
he
would
got
be.
COVID.
But he didn't
But
play.
you can't predict injuries and stuff.
And you can't predict he'd be a top 5 pick before a draft has happened either. That's my only thing I've been saying the whole time. We don't know that. We don't know anything about any of this.
All we know is he didn't play. That's it. And
I know when he
I
did
think he's
play,
going to be a great
he
player.
put himself in a position to make
He's
a
going to
whole
be a
lot
great
of
player,
money.
and he made a good business decision. We think we all agree
I
with
think he
that.
was very smart, as was Trey Lance. That's
and
why
as was Caleb. I think Caleb Farley too is also going to be a great player in the NFL. I think he's going to get drafted in the first round and make money as a quarterback. It doesn't. I don't understand how we can argue. I like arguing about it.
I'm not arguing with you because
I agree.
I don't understand what your point is. That GMs are taking it into consideration. Yes, they take what shoe size, how long their arms are. I get that. That's not. I mean,
Hand size.
if that's the deal, then fine. Then they take everything into consideration. Okay, but I don't have any other topics. You know that, so I'm not sure why you took it to that place.
I don't think what I said was controversial.
I
just don't think what I said was controversial.
I didn't say it was. I said I didn't.
You didn't like
agree.
it.
I didn't agree.
You said you didn't agree, and I never want to talk about it again.
Let's agree to disagree.
Right,
Okay.
that's what I've been trying to do.
Okay.
I'm just making my point why I disagree, and that's okay. I'm allowed to, and I do 100%.
You can disagree.
All right, so don't tell me to come up with the next topic.
No,
then.
but you can't say I disagree, and I never want to talk about that again.
Then you can't look at me and be like, okay, you disagree.
Well, if you don't want to talk about it,
come up with
what
the
do you
next
want to
topic,
talk about
jerk.
it?
You're
Oh,
being a
come
jerk.
See how much
Let's
we
go.
missed each other,
Let's
guys?
go. It's been 6 weeks. Let's go.
Unbelievable.
Let's go.
We knew the top 2 picks last year. We can know where people will be drafted, says James Rainey.
Man, I'm just saying. We're predicting futures over here and basing stuff on it. And I haven't predicted nothing in a year and a half. So,
is Jack Wilson going to the Jets, or are they?
Well, I don't know who Jack Wilson is.
Zach Wilson going to the Jets.
I think he is going to the Jets, but
I think so too. I think the 49ers are taking Justin Fields. I don't think the 49ers are taking Mac Jones.
If they don't, they're the dumbest asses ever. But that doesn't mean Mac Jones isn't going to be a damn good player. I just don't think you need to go all the way up to 3 to get him. That's all. Justin Fields has that. I mean, we saw what Justin Fields did to Clemson in the semis.
Yeah.
I don't know what he doesn't have. And I know what I saw that night. He processed the reads against that team who's been in the football college playoffs every damn year just fine. And he threw that deep ball, and he's got that speed and athleticism. Obviously, around here, we understand that Dwayne Haskins has kind of hurt the idea of drafting Ohio State quarterback, I guess. It's so annoying. But Justin Fields, if you took
Dwayne Haskins' problem had nothing to do with the scheme or coming out of
Of
Ohio State. It had everything
course.
to do with his
I know
lack of
that.
work ethic.
I get it.
So that's
T-Bird,
different.
I get it.
He shouldn't
but
pay
that's
the
just-
price. He
I
shouldn't pay a
think
price for that.
Justin
That's
Fields
what's
has
happening.
talent,
He's a freak.
regardless of where he's coming
a
out of, that
freak.
somebody's looking at. I think he's a
I know.
make or break guy, to
I
be
know.
honest with you. I think he's a guy who's either going to really make it big or he's
I think
just
he's
gonna kinda
tailor-made
fizzle
for
out.
Shanahan's
He's not gonna make
offense.
it at all.
Who? Fields?
Justin Fields. I think Justin Fields is the
I don't know
man
why
for
why
Shanahan.
why do you think he'd fizzle out?
No. I just think he's got great tools, right? I think somebody like Shanahan in San Francisco could look at that and say, oh, my God, you believe what I could do with what that guy can do. And if he can do it, great. I think it's a huge upside to their organization if he can come in there and do that. I don't know if he's just a guy that, if it doesn't quite work out like that, is going to hang around the NFL for a while. I think it's high risk reward with Justin Fields. A little bit lower risk, but you know what you're getting with a guy like a Mac Jones, right? Just a solid pocket passer, not the best
Justin
athlete
Fields,
or
though,
anything like
may
that.
I say this? I want you to keep going. But
Justin Fields
the
is
level of
in line
athlete,
with what we
the
see.
level of athlete and talent physically is night and day. Not as a quarterback. You know what you're getting
As
with
football
Justin
player.
Fields, which is I'm saying top 3 talent as a
Right.
human.
No, I don't agree with
versus.
that. No.
I just don't know why you would give up that amount to go get a guy who. Hey, he may be functional for that San Fran offense, but I know a guy that could escape a little bit and be a little bit more of a – might be have a higher value attached to that top 3. That's all I'm saying.
Yep.
I don't know who's right and wrong. I don't. I haven't watched enough of either of them, and it wouldn't matter if I did. I wouldn't know the way these guys know. I dogged Mac Jones at the beginning of this whole thing and said I didn't want to have him on our squad because our squad plays a little bit of a different offense. That's it. So for us, I'd rather have Justin Fields all day. But maybe Shanahan, when you're the smartest guy in the room every single where you've ever been, maybe he still is. Who knows?
Rhett Donnelly asks, how much should the Skins give up to move into the top 15 range if Lance falls?
Gosh. God.
See, I'm not good at that. I really don't.
It's a really cool question to guess at.
I love Greg Martin's commenting on our office space. So while you guys ponder what we should give up to move up for Trey Lance, so we forgot our banner. That's on me. I dropped that. I misplaced the banner. That's what should be behind us. That's where the banner is. There's some interesting theories on the board.
These are COVID quarters.
Yeah.
All right, man.
This is where we're holding up for
I've
a pandemic.
Seen pictures of the new digs. They're looking good.
What's that?
Your house.
Yeah.
The basement is unchanged. We did zero.
Well, the facade has been.
There's a different facade.
It's much nicer.
That's
Not
a
that
fact.
it wasn't bad before. It was great. Before.
Maybe we're
WOB
subterranean.
radio.
Maybe we're just subterranean at the new build out. Maybe this is part of the new build out. All I know is this: you will never see another person besides the 3 of us in this shot.
No.
Or this building.
Well,
There's a lot of also commentary on Benjamin. I appreciate everyone's concerns that seem to be ongoing. Even though we've been off for a month, people are still worried. We need to show some proof of life at some point, I feel like.
He's good. Still got a beer.
He's still doing just fine. He's still wearing a mask. He's still masked up. He's going to be okay. He's going to get through this.
I haven't seen Benjamin in a year and a half. There's no proof of any of this.
Show, but I didn't know if we were going to get through this show.
We got through it, dude. We're getting through it right now.
Okay, good.
What's Kevin Gahagan talking about?
I feel good momentum now.
I was trying to give momentum. I'm sorry. I said what I said.
Who would you give up? What would you give up to move up to Trey Lance?
Shit, man, that's a tough question. It's not going to be enough. Because if we need to move up, that means someone else is going to need to move up. There's going to be 2 people. There's going to be one person taking at least 2 calls. What could we offer? Would we?
We have the picks, but I'm not giving them up.
I don't want to get the picks. To me, are the untouchable. Now, if you have to give away one of your 5ths or one of your 3rds, and you have 2, I don't know. That makes it. But are we talking Jerron Payne here?
No. I think we can move up into the top 15 with just draft picks. I don't think we have to give up a player.
So you think we go from 19 to 15 with just a 2nd and a 5th?
No, I think it's a 2nd and a 3rd to jump up a few picks.
I think it's more than that. I'm just throwing stuff out there, but I don't. The Redskins have traded up to get Trey Lance, and they've only given up the flop and a 2nd. Like that's what that was the Montez deal. He doesn't play quarterback.
I love Trey Lance, and I would love to have him on my team, but I am completely resigned to letting Taylor Heineke, Kyle Allen, and Ryan Fitzpatrick be our quarterbacks this year and add other players. And this is the point of the conversation where I want to ask about offensive linemen because that's another position that will be available.
1 minute. I know. But what you just brought up just sparked in my head. If we did wait that 1 year, that means so Fitz isn't really here to groom someone for a year. That means that Terry and Curtis don't have that guy that we're looking to re-sign Terry and have Curtis for another year. That's one lack of a year of development out of our guy.
That's just no first round. That's not us getting one of the top 5 quarterbacks.
And I'm with you
I'm
there.
still taking another. We can still take a
I don't
bye.
like anybody. I really don't like anybody else.
But like in the 4th or 5th round?
I know, but like I get it. If you're trying to develop a guy as a backup to trade for a pick, that's fine.
I'm talking about a scratch-off lottery ticket. Like, who knows if some of these guys that are going to go in the middle of the draft
I hear
for
exactly
one
what
year.
you're saying, My humble opinion is that a Kyle Trask in the third
or Kellen
Mond is a wasted draft pick.
More so than another like a linebacker or defensive back who may not make the team.
If we could get a couple linemen, or you can hit on a lineman in the fourth round, man. You can hit on an annual starter. The idea of hitting on a quarterback in the fourth round is a big-time risk. You don't hit on quarterbacks in the first round. The fourth round, the guys with all the warts, and sometimes they're serviceable. I just don't see a guy out there that I give a shit about, to be fair. I don't. I tried to, and when I'm doing the mock drafts, I'm trying to find a guy in the third or fourth that I want to. And Kellen Mond was an IMG guy. You and I watched him play and against a St. John's team that was loaded. We've seen these type of people. I don't want one for us just because we have Fitz and the ability to bring someone around. I really believe we're going to try and do something. And if the Ryan Fitzpatrick, he's here because he is that dude. Obviously why we had to get a guy, but he's the guy that brings us into the next guy. And he could be over 2 or 3 years through the course of that. I'm not saying I'm right or wrong. I'm not saying you're right or wrong. I'm saying that's my school of thought. Why would we wait a year to get our guy? And I get it. Next year's guys.
Because they don't love a guy this year.
True.
We can't pay for it.
We didn't get him.
I think
we
the biggest
we love
risk
Stafford.
in waiting the next year is if you do find the guy you do fall in love with, you may end up having to give up too much.
No doubt. But we love Stafford, right?
Yeah.
We who knows about Deshaun Watson? Throw that out. We don't know. That went its own way. Stafford, we were ready to go. We were very competitive. So my point is this: we're ready to go. So if that was the plan, and we went all in on Stafford, we're ready to go, and maybe a couple other guys that we don't know about. Now we're like, well.
So you're giving up you're swapping first. It's like. It's probably a second and a third, at least, to move up just 4 or 5 picks.
Listen,
if Trey Lance falls out of the top 12, then you got to make the call.
A lot of what Ken I think has been pushing for a long time. It's not novel, but it is build this team to a point where there might be a free agent quarterback that says,
"I'm good with that."
You know what? That's my best bet.
Next year's Stafford.
I'm good with I'm good with what works, and I don't know. I'm good with anything. But from my perspective, what I don't want to trade up for a Mac Jones. I don't want one of these like the Kyle Trask, Kellen Mond. Maybe
on those two guys in particular.
Maybe,
in my opinion, Mond is a good player that never really got much better.
He didn't.
I think Trask is a little different. I don't know if Trask has totally fully reached his potential yet. I think he has room to get a lot better. He could be a guy you take in a third round that isn't expected to come in and play right away, learn under a guy that's been a veteran for a little while.
That's fine.
And actually be in a position very much like a Tom Brady. It's hard to be a Tom Brady, but where
there's only one.
You had potential to fill. I don't know if Mond can get much better. I think Trask actually, as good as he is now, I think he actually has a little bit more room to get better with some experience.
And if that's the case, that's great, and that's what we're doing. That's good, but that doesn't mean we're fast-tracking him to start next year. So that's fine with me.
I think
I'm
that's
fine
a
with
scenario
that. If we want to develop a guy, Andy Reid style,
if
that's
he's
fine.
there and it's the right move at the time, then you know what? You do take him. You do take him for that reason. May not work out, but that's where your third or fourth round quarterbacks.
Is there an offensive lineman you guys like at number 19?
I'm just going to say, because this is a heart answer.
Okay.
But, man, Darius Sal at Virginia Tech says he's a lifelong Redskin fan. He's a Ron Rivera type of player who's loved this team forever. That's my heart. I'm not – I said it.
Great.
I said it. But he is a mauler, T-Bird. He is a monster. Yeah. He doesn't have all that fluent athleticism we're looking for. But we're not looking for all that. We're looking for a dog, and he loves the Redskins. So Darius would be my first choice as of right now, only because of that. The nod goes to the burgundy and gold love. It does. And he's a mauler. Virginia Tech boys have done good by us.
They have. They've been playing very well. You got a different guy in mind?
Nope.
I like. If he falls,
there's not a ton.
I don't think he's fallen to us. I think he'll be gone before us. But I also think there's some offensive linemen we can get in the second round who would start at guard for us on day one, and we
guard.
might.
I don't think they're taking another guard.
No. I'm talking about a college
First
tackle
round.
In the second round who can play tackle
and
for us.
And I think the best first-round linemen are not going to be hanging around at 19.
I'm talking about –
and that's based on history.
Elijah Vera Tucker from USC can play either position. He is a bad dude, but he's 6'4". He doesn't have the length. He just passes the length of the arm test, Ken, so don't worry. He does pass barely. Just like all of us.
But you would take him in the first round?
Oh, he's played guard. He started at left tackle as a senior. He was a guard who played both guard spots his first 3 years. They moved him out for senior year. He can play whatever. Rivera likes this. He's a lot like the guy that we have already who we're looking to see what he's going to be next year, this 6'4", 315-pound guard tackle monster. So I don't know that we need to take that guy when we just took that guy last year.
Would you take a wide receiver at number 19?
I mean,
you'd have to be real special.
I mean, no, there's going to be guys there that can play. I just don't know that that's the need now.
But so if you can't get your
the future
offensive line
I get it.
target, if you can't get your linebacker target, if all the quarterbacks are gone,
corner is going to be my answer.
So Surtain's gone, Newsom's gone, Farley's gone.
What's the guy from South Carolina? Could be right there. Horn, is that his name?
I think so.
I'm just saying, cornerback in the first round is never horrible, although there's a dozen of them that are going to go in the first 2 days at least. There's never a problem with me. And what I'm looking at right now with our receiving core, I think I'd take a corner for the long term before I would take a receiver for the long term. That's just me.
I'm a second-round wide receiver guy in this draft. I think there's going to be a very, very good wide receiver available to us in the second round, and I'm taking him.
You'd have to be really special to take him in the first round. Other than that, it's not really a need for a first-round pick. You have other needs for that first-round pick. Like I say, he'd have to be really, really, really special. And at 19, I don't know if there's anybody that's really, really special. I'm
going to say this. Second round, take whoever the hell you want, because historically we have taken a huge dump on that pick.
Yep.
So if we can get any production out of our second-round pick this year, I had the numbers weeks ago. I think we talked about it a little bit, but it's ridiculous how bad we are at drafting in the second round. Recently has been worse. So second-round wide receiver, go ahead. Who cares?
Yeah.
It ain't going to be a first-round bust.
Nope.
And guess what? Devin White and Malcolm Kelly, we know how to bust out on the second-round draft receivers. So,
is Kyle Allen on this roster come September 1st? I think that's a 100% yes, Rob
I think that's up to Kyle Allen.
Well, I think Kyle – but okay.
Well, I guess that is true at some level.
I'm saying, is it his leg? Is he going to be able to perform to the point where it's worth keeping him around, or is it worth going?
If we draft a guy, especially if we were after a first-round guy.
Does IR count? Does IR count?
You draft a guy, one of them are gone.
Because if he's not on the IR,
he's pup.
I think that I think it's not a 100%, and I think that because of his broken leg, he might be on the street next year because Taylor Heineke just got more money, and they've got to cough up more, and he would have to be way better than Taylor Heineke. And Fitz ain't going nowhere, and I think we got a young guy at some level. If it's Montez.
My answer is yes, because I don't think we draft anybody, and I think that they're happy with their quarterback room. I think Scott Turner.
I think you're right.
Kyle
I don't
Allen.
think except for, I don't know. If someone slides, you never know. And I like that's why Rhett's question was an important question, because that quarterback spot, guys, those receivers, like who's the guys that every year we talk about the guys we're not going to get, all right?
Yep.
Well, I'm going to say that there's 4 quarterbacks we're not going to get. I don't know which 4, but there's 4 we're not going to get. It depends on what happens at 3.
Yep.
There's 3 receivers we're not going to get. There's 7. We ain't getting Pitts.
Nope.
No one.
And there's
Pitts
no
gets
other
anywhere
tight
near
end
there.
going.
So I think half the draft we're not getting before. Half of the 18 picks before us we know are not, unless we were to go up. So at that point, then it's corner, wide receiver. I don't want no more wide receiver, but tackle. who wants to get up and start getting those tackles? We watch it every year. We've done it together for 7 years. Once the quarterback chain, that last link happens, it's the tackles, right?
Yep. And there's going to be defensive linemen who get knocked. And we're not going to draft a defensive lineman in the first round.
We're not getting Barmore from Alabama. We're not. It would be cool, though, right?
That would be kind of ludicrous.
Yeah,
but
it's been working. But
Kevin Gahagan, happy 420 to you too, sir. Appreciate that.
Yeah, the night's young. It's only 10.
I don't know, man. I feel like so. What are we? If you think are we trading up? Yes or no? Don't say for what or why, but are we trading up?
No.
Are we trading up?
I say no.
I say no. That means that, in my opinion, that means we're not getting a quarterback in the first round.
That would make sense.
Are you drafting a linebacker or an offensive lineman at number 19?
I'm 50-50. I don't think either or. Listen, there's so many O tackles and so few linebackers.
So if you have your choice.
Tackles are tackles. Linebackers are few and far between. Ron Rivera said he wanted that middle linebacker quarterback. I want that middle linebacker quarterback. I've said it before. Chaz Surratt from North Carolina in the second round started at quarterback for North Carolina. When Mac Brown came back to town, he became the middle linebacker. It's a pretty decent case for wanting your middle linebacker.
I felt that way the whole time. I have felt the whole way it's going to be a linebacker.
Linebacker, I feel so. I think it's linebacker also. I don't think we're trading up. I will take a linebacker.
Hold on. My Surratt pick is a second round. I do not think we're going linebacker in the first round unless Micah falls to us.
There's no other linebacker you take in the first round?
I don't think so.
Okay.
And I just don't think there's a guy that's the guy. I love Zaven Collins, his lack of lateral. And I want that middle backer and that Will, not the guy that can do both. That guy we get in the fourth round, and he plays specials.
Anybody on the street you'd sign that would change the draft at this point?
It depends on who gets that next wave in the summertime when all of a sudden people have drafted what they've wanted to draft. They've gotten to the point where they want to get to, and now they have to make those nut-cutting decisions.
What about
when
is
the nuts
KJ
start
Wright?
hitting the ground?
What about KJ Wright, the linebacker from Seattle? Yeah, I think he's available. Is that somebody who could play for Ron Rivera and
right
Jack Del
now? I mean, no one's available until after the draft. To me,
not up on my KJ Wright.
Oh,
there's a couple linebackers that are on the street that have a. I don't know. I think that they're in the mold of a guy you sign who you think is only going to play 1 year for you and just randomly plays like six more years. Like I don't think that's KJ Wright. I think that veteran coaches like veteran quarterbacks, defensive-minded head coaches like veteran quarterback linebackers. I think we've seen it more than we've seen our share of the Washington Redskins or the Washington football team, for that matter, bringing in old middle linebackers who have, turned into, long-term starters for us, going all the way back to, before London Fletcher, you had who was the guy who played ahead of Terry Crews? Who do we have?
Everybody
besides
everybody. I think
Terry
everybody.
Crews.
That's why.
Well,
Terry
you had
Crews
Ken Harvey.
Done so well.
You had Ken Harvey and London Fletcher are like the ones that come to mind immediately. But I think I'm not convinced there's a veteran out there that these guys don't think we could get 2 years out of. Which doesn't change who we would draft necessarily. It just change who they feel like they have to draft. That's all I'm saying.
There's going to be a lot of names that get released.
Yep.
After June 1st, when that next wave comes, that's when the killing occurs. I don't think we need to make a move before that. Everything I read about this is anyone trying to trade up right now is going to get just ball busted. That's why we're not doing that. But the day of the draft could be crazy, just like the rest of this damn year.
It's not Jesse Armstead, Greg Martin. It's not Jesse Armstead or Jeremiah Trotter, for that matter, if anyone wants to throw some terrible names out there that we got in from the rest of the league. Kevin Mason, appreciate you. He still works out with Ken Harvey on the regular at his gym. I guarantee. I know he's still carved out of rock. That guy Ken Harvey could absolutely line up tomorrow and play. I don't know how many snaps he could give you, but he could probably still hit someone pretty damn hard. I'm guessing. Well, listen, we have to figure. We'll let you guys know. We're trying to figure out our schedule. We'll try to get something on the books for next week. We'll put some more draft material together. Hopefully, in the next week or so, things materialize a little more. I don't think anything's going to change with regard to us sitting at 19 between now and next Tuesday night. But I do think that the phones will. Carl Banks. I don't think Carl Banks either. I think that I think we're picking at 19. I think that's what's going to happen, and I'm kind of excited about it. I think we're going to get a guy who's going to start for us for quite a long time. Any last thoughts, guys? Draftiness. You're out of thoughts. You're spent. Is it because
I'm done.
Is it because of Cleary? It's because of Cleary. I knew it was.
No.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's because.
Nope.
Shout out to Andrew Cleary. Kev?
Cleary's texting me right now.
I'm good.
You're good? Okay.
Yeah, man. It was fun to get back and talk some draft. It was fun to get fired up. It was fun to get after a little bit.
Glad we avoided a fight.
Are there going to be any fights in here?
I thought I was going to have to step between you two.
Typically,
I would like to see that.
Typically, the fights involve you. I know.
Yeah,
It's
I know.
you guys.
I know. I was glad to be on the outside of this one. Watching good out.
We are going to be back again next week. We appreciate all you guys for hanging out with us on a Tuesday night. I don't know what this chat rate is. We need to get that number up. Our chat rate is 2.
They chat the shit out of the board. What are you talking about?
How are we getting such a low chat rate? Come on. Give these guys.
I can't see it.
Do you think someone sitting out last year will affect their draft status?
I'm knocking on your door tonight, Rhett. I'm knocking on every door. The back door, the front door. I'm throwing rocks at your windows.
Minimally.
I'm taking I know there's some golf balls sitting in your front yard. They're going to get 9-ironed straight into your master bedroom. Love it. AGH, awesome job. You stayed awake. Proud of you. It's been a long day. I know your schedule has been probably shifted back more to normal. This is kind of crazy that you're up at 5 o'clock in the morning over there in Wales. Appreciate you guys. Rob H., we are looking forward to getting at that bar. Also, Robert Cohen, appreciate you guys. Benjamin will be freed very soon. Greg Martin, who is on day 70. He just goes on these crazy alcohol-free stretches, which I don't understand because he just got married. We're in the middle of a pandemic, and his Yankees are god-awful terrible right now. How you're staying off the sauce, I don't know. Congratulations.
It's 420, brother.
That's true. That's true.
Don't make me
James
give you all
Rainey,
the answers.
we appreciate you. AGH, Rhett Donnelly, Kevin Gahagan, Kevin Mason, all you guys.
These guys coming back? You guys,
Appreciate it.
you know what? We were all so nervous. You guys are going to give us the big middle finger, and we did not want that at all. But thank you for understanding what the rest of the world understands. There's nothing you can do about this shit. So.
Yep.
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up. Until next time, he's Kevin Ricka.
And that was awesome. You guys are the best, man. I love chopping it up with all you guys. Hey, this is my guy. He planned this out yesterday, WWF style, and, we did it. Stephanie and
It was completely choreographed.
yeah, it was. Yeah.
He's Tim Strachan.
Verbally.
Hey, man, great to be back. So awesome that the draft's next week. It's sort of the height, I think, of the off season. Looking forward to it, man.
It's the best time of the year. It's when our team gets built. I know, Greg Martin, you have a hard time with it, but you're going to just get past it. You're going to be just fine. You need to end the streak. This was Thank God It's Tuesday. I am Ken Marangolo, and yes, Robert Cohen, we are still live. Hot mics, everybody. Hot mics. We'll see you guys next week. Oh, I can actually, you know what? I can end the stream right here.
Hot mics.
I'm going to do it right here.
Can you?
Yeah, I'm going to do it right now. See ya.